Hi everyone. In this video we are going to be looking at HTML images where we display image to the user using the image tag in HTML. Here, as you can see, there are three images that are displayed on the website in our material that we are using here, which is W3 School. So to achieve this, we use the image tag, which is represented using img, and as you can see, the img doesn't have any closing image tag, which means it is a self-closing tag among the tags that we have in HTML. So what makes this unique is that you can apply the source attribute and also the alt attribute, which the source attribute will be holding the URL of the image to be displayed, and the alt attribute will be holding the text that will be displayed to the user if the image fails to load. So how can we achieve this in our code? As you can see here, we have HTML structure, then we have the image tag with the source attribute, then the source attribute holds the location and the image name of what we are trying to display to the user, then the alt attribute here holds the name of that image, or is a text that describes what that image represents. Then we also have some other attributes such as width and height that represent this image in particular. So now let's go back to our material here and see some other useful attributes before we go into our code to actually practicalize that. So the image syntax comprised of the image tag, which is used to embed image on the web page, and it has two major attributes, which is the source that specify the path to the image, that is the location, such as URL here, and alt, which is alternate text, that is the text that will be displayed when the image failed to load. So the source attribute is required, yes, because it holds the URL of the image, and the alt attribute here, it provide alternative text for an image if the user for some reason cannot view it because of slow connection or error in source attribute, or if the user uses a screen reader. So the alt attribute comes into play there and is very useful in that aspect. So if the user cannot find the image, the alt attribute is what will be displayed. This text is what will be displayed with a little image diagram that says, okay, image failed to load, but the name that is actually holding is flower in China. So the name here define what is in the image actually, for screen readers, yeah, so that at least you can understand what the picture is all about. So we also have some other attributes such as the size and the width attribute. The width and the height attributes under the image size, which specifies the height and the width of an image that will be displayed on the web page. So here we have it in the styles attribute. Here we've looked at HTML style a bit, and we define the property together with the value such as 500 here, and we also have height and 600 pixel here. So we can achieve this using CSS, but alternatively, image tag also provide us with the attribute of setting the width directly and also the height directly without the need of specifying the measure units such as pixel. So here I specify the width to be 500 and the height to be 600. So the width and height attribute always define the width and height of an image in pixel. That's by default, because here we do not have to specify any default measurements units there. So width and height or style, which one is more recommended? However, we suggest using the style attribute because it prevents style sheet from changing the size of image. So we should use the style attribute instead, so that the style sheet will not change the image. So image in another folder. Here we look at another folder where an image is another folder in the parent folder. So yeah, we can look at all this in our example, and we have images on another server or website. That's when you have to put in the complete URL together with the image name, and yeah, you get it there. So if there's any mistake here, the image will fail to load, and this alternate text is what will be displayed to the user. And we also have image as link, where the image stands in as link. When you click on it, it will take you to a particular page, which is the default.html page. As you can see, it is wrapped in a tag, then the image is now what is inside, which should be displayed on the screen as you can see here. So now let's dive into our code, but before we go into the nitty-gritty, let's define the image element again. So now going into my VS Code here, I can just create a new file and say okay, it is what image.html. so I hit enter, then the file is being created for me. Then to proceed, I go back using my basic template by using this exclamation. Then I hit enter, then it's given by a basic template. Then I change the title here to image, and now in my code I can just have the image element by just using img, then autocomplete will just help me out with this, or I get to type it out myself. And remember, these are the two required attributes for image element. So the source here holds the URL, that is the location of the image, and the alt here hold the alternative text that will be displayed to the user. So now let's look at something very interesting. Yeah, this is the folder that I'm working on, which is the web code folder. So if I should open it, you will see the files that I have: image, heading, bookmark, and that's it. So that's what I have there. Then if I want to get an image, I will just, okay, let me find an image from that particular folder. I can just go into my pictures here, and yeah, I love this image, I love it. So, or let's take this, then I right click, or I use the command, that is to copy, because I need this image. I copy this image, then I go back to the folder that I was working on, which is I close this, I come back here, I open this folder that I'm working on. This is a very easy way to do it, or you can just use your command, that's Control C for copy and Control V for paste. So now I have the image in the same folder, that is the parent folder that I'm working on. Then now let's go back into our code editor, and we see the image here, which is actually t-shirt.jpg. So image have several file extensions such as png, jpg, and so on. So here the image is here. Okay, now to link this image to my image source, yeah, I can now put in the image URL such as the image name. As you can see, since they are in the same folder, hovering over this, it just gave me the name of the image, saying inside the webcode folder just say t-shirt.jpg. So I can just say t-shirt, and as you can see, autocomplete is already there for me. Just put in the image name, and since the image is about t-shirt, I'll say okay, this t-shirt. Just very simple text that describe what this image is about. So I save my file, and I can use live server to view this, or I go back into the folder that I was working on, and this is the image.html. Then I double click to open it in the browser. So now I open it in the browser, and this is what is displayed on the screen, the image, which means I've successfully uploaded this image on the web page. Okay, so now let's go back to our code and add some text to this, maybe a paragraph text. I can now say okay, this is an image. So I save it, and I go back to my folder, to my browser, and I refresh. As you can see, this is an image. So that works absolutely fine. But there's something that we come across here. It says image in another folder. That means if you have multiple image and you don't want to disorganize the folder structure, then you can put images in a particular folder which you can always reference. Okay, so to achieve that, I can just go back into my VS Code here and say okay, I need to create a new folder that I can just call image img. Then I move this image into this img folder, and that is very easy to do there. So that is done. Now if I should reload my page, the image will not be found because the image is no longer on that page, and the alt text is what is displayed here, which is just t-shirt. So now I go back to my code and I say okay, to achieve that I have to reference the image folder. Then I say okay, image slash then the t-shirt.jpg to get the image actually. Then I save and go back to refresh, and yes, the image is back. So that is how to achieve this in HTML. Thank you.